How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win with author Grace Wroldson, a strategy coach for moms. This is the book available on Amazon, How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win, Super Smart Strategies for Success. And this is my 2021 letter to my readers. Dear reader, this is my quote-unquote I survived book. I lived to tell this tale. I survived many years of abuse by proxy. I was with my ex, an alcoholic narcissist who I never married, for 15 long and painful years. He was so angry when I ended our relationship, it was an ego blow, that he set out to punish me using the family court system. Believe me when I tell you, he wouldn't have wanted to be me back then because I didn't want to be me either. I endured the heartbreaking breakup thinking it gave me a chance at a long and happy life, but instead, I now had an entirely new set of persistent problems with my ex. I underwent 5 child protection investigations, 2 psychological evaluations, 3 biased GAL interviews, inquiries, and reports, and 3 attorneys. I was served many papers by the sheriff, suffered accusations based on lies, and went through 4 pediatricians who resigned from caring for our daughter. I spent over 8 years in one legal war with multiple court appearances each year, which resulted in a 5-day trial spanning 2 years. How I ever found a babysitter for all those drives into family court, I'll never know. No job would have given me that many days off to deal with this. My 2 primary jobs were raising our young daughter and going to court. I was on the verge of an emotional breakdown anytime I thought about what I was up against in court. The losses I sustained in family court were so traumatic that it was hard to talk about, write about, or read my own words. When I first started this hero's journey, I was emotional, scared, and hopeless. But I kept going no matter what the narcissist did. Please keep in mind that my story is not your story. And survival stories come in all lengths and dramas, shapes and sizes. No 2 stories will be exactly alike. They might be eerily similar, though. Just because I lost certain rights doesn't mean you will. Use my story as a way to avoid some of the pitfalls you may encounter. Most likely you will identify with parts of what I'm saying. You will find similarities in our common problem, a narcissistic ex-co-parent. You may also find many other similarities in the family court process, but your experience may end up being very different than mine. Your experience will be specific to your state guidelines, your judges, and your particular issues at hand. My legal maneuvers may not work for you in your case, so be smart. Seek consultations on your unique case. I recommend obtaining at least 3 expert legal opinions on what to do in your case. I recommend getting a lawyer, and it's the only advice I give is to get legal advice. The lawyer you choose, the strategies you create is entirely up to you and your attorney. Take what you can and leave the rest from my book. I wrote this book to encourage myself by restating the wisdom I gained while taking my quote-unquote beatings in family court. I wrote this book because I needed to hear these words spelled out in strategies during the darkest time of my life. I wrote this book to purge all of the unfairness of what was happening to me and our child. I wrote this book to clarify my thoughts, my position, to heal and help others. Helping others is both healing and uplifting to one's spirit, I found. I believe that some good can come out of my awful situation. Practice survival strategies is the first super smart strategy that I offer you. The solutions are the strategies, for the strategies are the solutions. If you have a toxic ex, the serious nature of your predicament means you have to have a safe plan for yourself and your children. Get help from crisis workers, domestic violence agencies, therapists, police, and courts. This book's strategies can't be the only thing you rely on when you're up against such a beast. I learned the hard way that I couldn't do this on my own. I needed help, and most likely you will too. Getting help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength and smarts. Depending on how you look at it, I both won and lost my custody case at the same time. I maintained half physical custody. I avoided my ex lying to more medical authorities, which had the potential to remove my child from me. I avoided being put on limited supervised visitation, which he ultimately asked for and wanted. That and, not paying child support. I was able to avoid this by backing down here and there. My ex intended to use the court system to defeat my spirit, so I dodged all I could by allowing smaller losses. In my case, there were very few opportunities to negotiate or mediate because of the attorney that my ex chose. His attorney wanted a war because that is how she earned her living, fighting. She didn't make money when both sides agreed cooperatively. Because of her, my situation is not the average experience. Most lawyers follow the established protocol and try to mediate and negotiate terms to avoid excess court fees and expensive trials. In my case, however, my ex's lawyer needed dumb clients like him to pay her high overhead of her office, so she skipped the mediation part and never allowed us to sit at the same table to settle disputes or compromise. Because of her, we drew hard lines and fought over every issue through the court. This means we were enemies and not team players. This meant his lawyer would keep filing motions in an attempt to win it all for her client. If you are just realizing that your ex is a narcissist or might be a sociopath, please get self-educated on these specific disorders. Gain a solid understanding of the common terms that apply to dealing with a narcissist. Words like gaslighting, supply, minions, flying monkeys, poisoning the well, and smear campaigns need to be correctly understood. These tactics blindsided me, and I only learned about them after the fact. Don't be down on yourself for being involved in a custody battle. It only makes sense that a problem like this will eventually land there. Family court is the only place for this drama to play out sometimes. It is a stage for the narcissist. Since my ex couldn't cause problems at home with me, he needs someplace to do it. Where else would an enabled, entitled narcissist person end up? Family court was it. A word from the wise and wounded. Keep your strategies a secret and never let them fall into the hands of the enemy. Keep them close to your chest as if you're playing cards in a game of do or die. Don't brag or talk about them to your friends. Only share your strategies with a trusted attorney under a confidentiality obligation or a life coach who operates with the same type of confidentiality. Don't let your game plan slip, even to your closest friends, family, or other people you think might be your allies. You might be amazed at how much people like to talk about others in a heated battle. After all, war makes headlines. And don't forget that people make mistakes too. They're only human. For example, a well-meaning parent's guilty conscience might slip to the other side's parent at the grocery store. It is too much to ask them to hold on to such inside info. Secrets tend to burn holes in people, and like a pressure valve, they always need to be released. They will want to talk about your secrets and get it out too. So make sure that you practice privacy and lots of self-restraint. I do suggest talking about your case, and often I suggest you pull together what I call a team of 10. Find 10 people you can call for support and go down the list whenever you are emotionally triggered. But discuss your case details only with the experts, trusted advisors, and professionals assisting you. For anyone else who cares about you and is concerned of what you're going through might find, a one-liner to say. Something that will comfort and console them because they feel just as attacked as you do. So you might have to make this one-liner to say to family and friends that is neutralizing. I learned to say, "We are still in the family court process. We'll have to see if the schedule changes." A memorized response helps avoid the minions and your personal information from getting into the wrong hands. So much was used against me during my trial that it makes me disappointed in humanity. But I had to remind myself that anyone can fall under the spell of a narcissist's acting performance and his charm. I know firsthand how upsetting this can all be. We want to shout to the hilltops about how unfair our situation is, but there is a time and place for whistleblowing and tell-alls. We can't hurt ourselves by protesting our lives and ending up in jail, no matter how good the cause is. We have to practice self-discipline and self-protection to be there for our children. Super smart strategy. Keep all your strategies a secret and practice privacy. Goal setting is a great way to approach problems. My goals changed each year in litigation. I constantly had to adjust and recalculate. Your goals might be different than mine, and yours may change as well. I made small goals, such as surviving December 2020, and bigger goals like seeking half legal custody within the next 4 years, which I now have, by the way. I wrote them down and allowed myself to feel a sense of accomplishment when I reached one of the goals. Be specific. What you want matters. I recommend making a list of short and long-term goals. Write them down so you can work towards them, and also so that you can look back on them to mark your progress. I found it helpful to put a date with them. I was always intrigued by the date and the time that I wrote down my goals. I hope you can at least use one of my super smart strategies in your situation. I pray that you find helpful super smart strategies throughout my book and use them during your most challenging times. I hope that these strategies become weapons in your arsenal for what you're going through. I would love to hear from you and your success stories on my private Facebook page, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, or by email. May you reach your goals and be super smart. Stay strong, Grace. Thank you so much for listening to this letter to my readers from my second book, How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court. There is a new update available since I went on to win most of what I lost the second round using skillful means. I say start with my first book, Co-Parenting with a Narcissist, Super Self-Rules to Stay Sane, before going to this book, How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court. This is the newest book that has updates on using skillful means and different strategies to deal with a high conflict custody battle with a narcissistic ex. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to find my blogs because I have lots of my wisdom tips, tools, I call it survivor wisdom, available on my website in free blogs. This is my How to Communicate with a Narcissist Using Skillful Means, where you stop being the narcissist's enemy and the target of blame. If you're suffering what I call co-parenting abuse, go find those two blogs on my website. This is my Get the Right Lawyer guide. I've interviewed over 10 top family law lawyers presenting my case using my 20-question worksheet where you can go in prepared to ask questions. Don't use the lawyer as a therapist. Use the lawyer for law. Find out what your rights are, find out what their strategy would be, and find out what you need to be documenting in your case to win with your judge in your state. So use that Get the Right Lawyer guide. If you go see my blogs on my website, you'll find legal strategies that I used that was written after How to Fight a Narcissist in Family Court and Win, since my legal battle spanned 12 years, not just 8. I have a co-parenting video course that covers the basics that can really ground you in sanity, common sense, logic, for you to be the more reasonable person and de-escalate the narcissist. It's called Navigate the Narcissist Co-Parenting Video Course. You're going to navigate and neutralize the narcissist. If you are ready to learn, I am ready to teach. Remember to like and subscribe. You can get solutions for your sanity in my first book. Remember to focus on the love you have for the child and not the hate you have of the narcissist. You can come out smarter and stronger than before. You can learn, heal, and grow. If you're not already a member of my wisdom group, you can come on over here. We will have free videos and new blogs available, as well as groups, Zoom groups in the future. This is my website. Make sure you click on the blog that says Co-Parenting with a Narcissist to see. I think I have like almost 30 blogs there. A lot of them are completely free, giving you some of my survivor wisdom. I've got a best tips for dealing with a narcissist as a co-parent. That's also a video on my YouTube channel. You can just sit back and watch. Listen to some of my best tips. See if you can implement a few to better your situation. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in one of my groups. And if you did read any of my books on Amazon as a self-published, self-help author, I appreciate any and all reviews on Amazon for my books. Thank you so much.